Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the World Class Stamp. In today's episodes, we're going to be talking about potential new managers for the top six sides. We'll be ruling out Spurs and Chelsea as they've recently had a changing of the guard. We're going to start off with Manchester United. So, Steve, what are your thoughts on who would be a good possible candidate for the next Manchester United manager?
So I'm going to go straight in with the name here. He's 51 years old. He hasn't managed for a little while. He's been out of the game, but I'm going to go for Zinedine Zidane. Just a bit of a potted history about him, just to tee him up for the other panel members. So started off as assistant coach to Ancelotti, of all people, at Real Madrid, and what an example, I guess, to learn from straight away there. And he then moved into Real Madrid's B side, and then on to Real Madrid, where he had two spells, didn't he? And what two spells they were. Three consecutive Champions Leagues. He won a title there. He won domestic trophies. Better success in his first stint than his second, I believe. But for United, I think Zidane would be a cracking addition in the dugout. As we've said, he knows how to win those big trophies, and United need to get back to winning those big trophies on the European circuit and competing again in the Premier League. So I just feel Zidane would be a great fit for that club. He would, depending on how long it would take, he could link up with potential previous players he managed, such as Varane, Casemiro. So for me, United should look no further than Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, interesting. Matt, what are your thoughts on Zinedine Zidane and how he'd fit in at United?
Yeah, I think maybe you would need more of a star-studded squad to get things going early. And I think that's what he inherited at Real Madrid. Not taking anything away, because winning three Champions Leagues on the bounce is no mean feat, which with whatever squad you've got. But I don't think he's proven, if he took over this Man United squad now, I think it would be a struggle. Maybe for his lack of other managerial experiences. But yeah, an amazing coach. I've actually got him down for one of the other sides on our list tonight. And I've gone for Man United. I've gone for Thomas Tuchel. I know he's enjoying himself at the moment with Bayern Munich, as everyone does, I think. Go over there, win 6 leagues on a bounce, and then look to move on. So he's probably going to go through some glory days with Harry Kane next season or two. But I think, if that sort of coincides with Ten Hag maybe losing his position, I think Man United might go in for Thomas. He's a great tactician. He done well at Chelsea, I thought. Left a bit early. I think the board should have kept him a bit longer. So I think he'll return to Premier League and possibly Man United. Who knows?
Could be a good fit there for Thomas. So my pick for Man United might be a bit of a surprise. I'm going to go for Ange Postecoglou. He's come in and he's been fantastic for Spurs this season. He's managed to turn them around pretty quickly. He's made some smart signings, and I think that's exactly the type of manager Manchester United need, is someone to galvanise the players that are already there, get the best out of them, also bring in some smart signings as well to add to the team, particularly the back line. He's identified quite a few players. Spurs were struggling defensively last season, and even before that. So Antonio Conte, renowned for his defensive ability, still couldn't keep clean sheets there. But in fairness to Ange Postecoglou, he's managed to come in and strengthen up the back line with some shrewd acquisitions. And I think if he had a bigger budget at a club like Manchester United, it'd really get him pushing into the top four. Spurs fans will thank me for that because he's only just arrived on the scene. But yeah, that would be my pick for Man United. In terms of Zidane, 62% win ratio for Real Madrid. He'd bring some star-studded power. Not sure how he would cope with having to manage all the egos there of multiple manager signings. A bit of a mess at Man United at the minute. They've got about 5 or 6 managers worth of signings there, so it would be interesting to see how he coped under those pressures. And Thomas Tuchel, again, he has got some form in managing big egos with his stint at Paris Saint-Germain, so that could be another good fit for Manchester United. But overall some good picks there. Any thoughts on my pick with Big Ange going to Man United? Do you think that's a possibility? I'll tee it off to Steve first.
I don't actually. I don't see it. I'm not saying he's not a good manager. I just think he's he's unproven, I think, well, he is unproven in the Premier League. I think United need a proven manager who has proven that he can win trophies. I'm not sure of Ange's previous
Celtic was
trophy
his
cabinet
former,
trail.
I think, did he win the treble at Celtic? So yeah, and he's
Yeah.
won wherever he's gone. But yeah, I take your point that he hasn't done much at Spurs. But if he gets a trophy for Spurs, I think first one
Well,
since donkey's
I was going
years,
to say,
that could be.
yeah, he's looking like he could pick up a domestic trophy for Spurs for sure. He's doing really well. I just feel, I think he'll have a long stint at Spurs. Actually, it looks like he's bedding himself in there nicely.
Matt, what are your thoughts on that, Ange? Do you think he possibly could take over the reins at Old Trafford?
Well, you never know. Said football's a funny old game, isn't it? So, if he done well, United might come in and poach him. But if
Yep.
he does win a trophy at Spurs, like you said, he could be a long stint, 3 to 5 seasons maybe. He's got a bit of Martin Jol about him. The fans seem to like him. They take into him, and I think they might stick with him for a bit, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we'll see how things
So
develops there.
yeah, but Man United do need a change. Yeah, Man United do need a change in manager, and it could well be one of them three.
What's your
Okay.
thoughts on Zidane giving the old headbutt to a few United players that needed to ship out? That might be
Could be
that might be a little
interesting.
nice
I mean,
needs
I
to
think if
happen.
look at him historically, he hasn't done well with look at the whole Bale scenario where he throws him out the team. So yeah, not sure if he goes about the right way of trying to get rid of players he don't want, but yeah, it would be interesting to see how he copes in that scenario. Um, okay, so next up we've got Liverpool, and my pick for Liverpool, which I think a couple of the panelists have got as well, is Xabi Alonso. Doing really well in the German league at the minute, top of the league with Bayer Leverkusen, I think it is. Yeah, he looks like a top prospect. The only problem for Liverpool will be timing wise, I think. I think he loves the club, but there will be other big teams looking to acquire his services with Real Madrid. They seem to need a new manager every other season, especially with Carlo Ancelotti looking to retire, I think is from Real Madrid when his contract runs out at the end of the season, and things not really going well for the Bayern Munich coach at the minute, Thomas Tuchel. So he could, well, if he doesn't, if he doesn't win the league, he could be out, and ex-player Xavi Alonso could be coming in to replace him. Yeah, so that would be my pick for Liverpool. Obviously, Klopp is still very much in the frame right now. I think he's committed for the foreseeable future, but when he does decide to move on, maybe the German national team comes calling for him because they're struggling right now. Yeah, I think Xavi Alonso would be a good person to come in after him. Matt, what do you think for Liverpool's next manager?
Yeah, I think Klopp might be there for a good couple of seasons yet. So if Alonso does come into his own and become a top class manager with some silverware in his belt, of course he'd look for a move back to Anfield and the fan following he's got there and club legend. But I think they might go for someone a bit more sort of stellar. They might go for someone bigger name who's been in management for longer. So I think maybe they go for Simeone Inzaghi from Inter. I think he's a top class manager. Again, top tactician, knows how to win games. Yeah, I just think he'd be a good fit for the job. It's going to be no mean feat to follow Klopp after what he's achieved at Liverpool. So yeah, they probably look for some stability and maybe play in sort of a not an Italian style, but more of a defense, keeping the mind on the defense. I think that's what he'd do. So yeah, I think it'd be a good transitional takeover if he did go there. So that's my pick for Liverpool.
Yeah. Steve, what's your thoughts on Inzaghi fit for Liverpool, and then follow up with your pick for the Reds?
Yes, my pick for the Reds. I've also gone for Xabi Alonso. It just feels a bit like it's meant to be, I think, doesn't it, at the moment? As we said, Klopp is well into his Liverpool career. I mean, Alonso joined Leverkusen when they were, I think, second from bottom after 8 games, and he's literally smashing it now, isn't he, at that club? I think he beat his former manager Jose Mourinho in the Champions League, knocked Real Madrid out. He's gone unbeaten this season for like I think it's 12 games in succession. Pipping Bayern Munich at the moment by 2 points at the top of the table, or should I say Bayern Kane, because that club seems to be star-studded, but obviously Kane is doing really well there, and through to the last 16 of the Europa League. So it's just all going right for Xabi Alonso, and I think it's lining up if it continues that way, and Klopp does want to switch, or even the club want to switch away from Klopp. He's got to be right up there as the next pick for that club. Inzaghi, he's been around a while, hasn't he? Now I think in the Italian leagues, he's got good pedigree, good track record in the game as a player as well. Probably typical Italian player and manager in terms of how he sets teams up. I don't see a nice fit though with him and Liverpool. I think Liverpool is certainly how Klopp have set them up. Very attacking, very exciting team. Premier League's very different. I'm not saying Italian managers can't come over and do it. Of course they have, and they will. But I feel it's almost written in the stars that Xabi Alonso will at some point become Liverpool manager.
Yeah, I think Alex Ferguson has got the famous quote of saying that that lad Inzaghi must have been born offside. So yeah, he is a tactical genius, and maybe he can work his way over to the Premier League at some point. And who knows, that could be with Liverpool. Okay, so next up then we have Arsenal. Matt, do you want to kick us off with your pick for Arsenal this time?
Yeah, got two coaches down, similar styles, both winners. A bit more hard line than Arteta. I don't think Arteta quite gets the side over the line. He's a great coach. You can see the improvement of player for player improvement in their game. So he's definitely man, coach-wise, fantastic. However, I think tactically in games, he gets caught out, makes wrong substitutions sometimes, decisions. So I think they need somebody with a bit more guile. And a bit more of a hard nose. So I've gone for Diego Simeone from Atletico. I doubt they'll ever poach him from over there because he's having a fantastic run. He's already won La Liga twice, and they're doing pretty good this season again. That would probably be a contrast in styles to what Arsenal are used to over the years, but this guy knows what to win trophies, and again, contrasting styles. He's come over here. He's won the Premier League with Chelsea, and he's out of contract at the moment. Looking for a position. So I think one of them two could take the mantle at Arsenal.
Yeah, sorry, who was your second pick? Did you say?
Yeah, Conte. If
Conte.
he'd have been,
Okay.
Conte.
I
Sorry.
think he glitched out a bit then. I didn't hear who the selection was. Yeah, two really good managers, both with very good track records, like you say. Yeah, both I think would be good fits for Arsenal. Not sure about Conte with the Spurs connection, whether he would get forgiven for that kind of North London divide. But I think how many managers have crossed the North London divide? Maybe George Graham's the only one I can think of at the minute. Is
George
there
Graham.
any others that have done that? Sure. Yeah, but if they could get him,
Well,
I think
it's been a few players, hasn't it?
yeah, manager-wise, only George Graham springs to mind. Don't know if there's been another one that's managed both clubs, but he would be in a rare band of select few that did. But yeah, definitely, I think you think for Arsenal is they want to win, right? So if they can get someone with that winner's mentality, maybe he can be the one to get him over the line. Steve, what are your thoughts about Arsenal, and who would you have in there next to follow up after all the good work that Arteta has done?
So I think just to say, when you said Matt, you've got two coaches there. I swear you're gonna talk about the Salford City coaches then, and and drop them in for the job there at Arsenal. Good to hear that you didn't actually. So I've gone for Antonio Conte as well at Arsenal, 54-year-old. Managed loads of Italian clubs, the Italian national team. He's won trophies, leagues in Italy with Juve, Chelsea in the Premier League, Inter, Spurs. You're right. It seemed he started well. It just seemed to unravel a little bit at Spurs. I'm not sure why. I think there was some kind of dispute, disagreement, or misalignment, I guess, with the ownership there at Spurs about the direction of the club. I think he was famous in saying that the owner's been there for 20 years and Spurs haven't won a single thing. I think that was a little bit of a dig there at Spurs owner. But for me, just going back to Arsenal, Arteta, I agree, Matt. He looks a good coach. Learned his trade from another great coach in Pep. Played some great stuff, signed some great players, solid team. Still has won a trophy, he's won the FA Cup. Still remains to be seen whether he can go one better than a domestic trophy and win a league title or a European competition. He has made recently some at the moment looking like bordering on poor additions to the team. There's some question marks over a couple of players he's brought in, and as you say, question marks over some of the selection as well in some of those players as well. Certainly around the goalkeeper is one, and so I think remains to be seen. But I think Conte, if he came into Arsenal, he's ruthless, isn't he? His playing career was all about hustle and bustle, getting around the pitch. He wasn't the most talented, but he worked hard and he grafted. And I think Arsenal could do with a little bit of that. I think that might take him over the line. I think that we feel like they're missing a bit of graft in that team. So I fancy Conte to give that. He's won stuff, and he's famous for that 3-5-2 formation as well. The wing backs, three at the back, two box to box midfielders. Arsenal don't play that way right now, but could be a differential if somebody like Conte came into that club and put that marker down.
Definitely. Yeah, I think obviously you both picked Conte there. I just did have a quick scan. I couldn't see any other managers that have managed both Arsenal and Tottenham. But if you do know of any other ones other than George Graham, let us know in the comment section below. But my pick for Arsenal, as a manager's already been named, is Zinedine Zidane. And yeah, I think that star power. Arsenal's got a long history of that French connection with Henry and people like Patrick Vieira and that host of Emmanuel Petit, Wiltord, Gallas. They had a whole conveyor belt, it seemed at times, of French talent going into the club. Robert Pires, I could probably keep going on and on and on. But I think the one thing which has eluded Arsenal, and every Arsenal fan will probably be, the closest they come was in the final against Barcelona, is that Champions League trophy. So if someone like Zinedine Zidane can come in and win the Champions League for Arsenal, what an achievement that would be, and that would really solidify his greatness. Yeah, so whether he'd be up for the challenge, does he need few zillion quid, and will Galacticos? We don't know. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he could achieve the success he had at Real Madrid at Arsenal. And yeah, I think it'd be an interesting fit, and see if he can, take them on to the next level. So that would be my pick for Arsenal. What are your thoughts on Zizou? Will he be a good fit at Arsenal, and do you think he could deliver that Champions League?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he'd certainly be a gamble. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
Yeah, it'd certainly be a gamble, but he's won the Champions League, like you said. He could bring a bit of flair, and you think who's on the market? He's a free agent, so it's quite possibly if Arteta does go, they could ask Zidane, and he has got the pedigree, and why not? You've got nothing to lose. If Arsenal haven't won anything under Arteta, why not give Zidane a chance? If that makes that sounds a bit patronising for somebody of his talents, doesn't it? Give him a chance, but
Yeah.
it could materialise, and why not?
You never know, right? Okay, so finally then, our last team, Manchester City, and I'll kick this one off. So Pep Guardiola, how do you replace the man, the myth, the legend? I think lots of people have struggled to replace him, and you wouldn't want to be the man going in straight after him. You'd want someone to come in and fail spectacularly. Maybe give the job to David Moyes first for a season, and then you want to be the man that goes in after the man to make it all better again. So yeah, why not follow the same route and pinch Barcelona's manager? So my pick would be Xavi. He's got Barcelona playing good brand of football. They've been plagued with financial issues, and he still managed to get relative success there. They kind of sold off the family silverware to get some money in. They've bought some players, whether it's wise investments or not. you don't know, sold like stadium rights, future revenue, shirt sales, literally everything, and future TV sponsorship percentages. So yeah, they've thrown it all at it for the short term, um, to try and get some short term success in. Whether that works out for him long term remains to be seen. But for now, I think Xavi's doing a good job. And yeah, he could be the man to come in and at least have a go at Manchester City, playing a similar style of football to Pep, and probably learning a lot of his stuff from him. So yeah, that would be my pick for Manchester City. Matt, what about your thoughts on the next Man City manager? Who do you see going in there and trying to pick up the reins from Pep when he decides to call it quits?
Well, you're not going to get much more of a better manager than Pep, obviously. So how do you trump that? You get a better player or an ex-player. So Zinedine Zidane can slot straight in after Pep, in my opinion. He'll be there for the still for the star quality. It'll be a similar sort of model from what he took over when he took over Real. Maybe less star-studded in sort of terms of Galacticos playing for the side, but they'll be still top end. Pep will leave them in top condition, yeah, top order, top of the league, and yeah, he could find some success there. And if he doesn't, his personal legacy isn't going to be tarnished if he goes in after Pep and doesn't deliver. So could be a sort of a win-win all the way around there. So that's why I put in after.
Okay. And Steve, what would your choice be at Man City? And any thoughts you have on both mine and Matt's picks?
So I've gone for Alex Ferguson. No, I'm joking. I've gone for, well, a bit of a random one, actually. Well, not random. Give him his dues. I think he plays the brand of football that I think would suit City, and that's Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton. So, yeah, I know the Italian tactician. He's come to manage quite a few clubs in Italy in the lower divisions as well. So he's kind of worked his way up, if you like, over there, and he plays a very progressive, attacking brand of football. Very Man City-esque, I think. And when you watch Brighton, they're very exciting to watch. He's been in the Ukrainian league, won a Ukrainian domestic cup over there. Can't imagine that's necessarily that easy to do. Obviously now at Brighton, and I just think he's. I think some people thought when he took over at Brighton after Graham Potter that was it De Zerbi's work, or was this kind of Potter's legacy still seeping out into the way Brighton are playing? But I think we've seen long enough now since Potter has moved on and moved on again with his P45 that this is very much De Zerbi as well, taking it another level. He's lost a couple of big names in that club as well. He's lost Trossard, he's lost McAllister more recently. Yet still, Brighton seem to compete with the big boys, play that attacking brand, as I say. And I think he's young. He's 43, so plenty of years. I think Pep will still be there at City for a couple more years longer. And I think De Zerbi continues in the way he's going at Brighton. Premier League experience. He can get a domestic trophy under his belt. City, I think he'd be on that candidate list for City when they look to do those interviews.
It's an interesting one. To coin a phrase, he put his own stamp on Brighton, hasn't he? So yeah, whether he's got the name value, would Manchester City fans be happy with that? Not too sure. But yeah, you can't really knock him for the success he's had at Brighton. But yeah, it would be interesting. Not too sure. But yeah, I suppose that's our opinions, guys. Let us know your opinions in the comment section. Is there any managers that we missed out? Would there be another manager who you want in your club that we haven't talked about today? Let us know, and we could do a follow-up video and talk about those managers and your club. But if you liked the video, consider dropping a like on the channel. And if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing, and you'll be notified for future videos. But that's it for this time, guys, and we'll catch you all next time. Have a world-class weekend.